it could be found where it came from, for sure. That's not a problem.
I'm going to try to explain it to the folks if they want to hear it. You know, 5, I believe it was. I was in a lake here, and it was a good fishing lake, so I had made myself a sort of trail around, and I'd go to fish, and nobody would see me coming in or out, and that's all I like. Because at Star Lake, they watched me like a hawk, because if I fished at a hole, the next day they'd all be there. So I was able to come in here and watch a deer that lived here. There was a family of deer living here, which is unusual for this. But it's like a mini climate, really. So anyway, because I haven't had any training, I was able to go around and I could, where the marks of the glacier are marked at a certain height. If you go in the Rockies, you see them. Sometimes you see some scratches on the rock, and it's nobody went up there with with a hammer. It was glaciers, and they were erratic. That is to say, they didn't go in a certain distance that way or that way. They would go wherever, who knows? And nobody can tell you because they don't know any better than I do. So what I did is start looking around and looking at these rocks and thinking and daydreaming, really daydreaming about what took place here. And I thought, okay, so it's a mile thick, it's full of rocks that they've scraped up from New Liskeard or Moosonee, rocks melted into the rock, or the rocks melted into the ice, just like you have peanuts in candy when you're making, it's stuck in there. And it'll move around if you stir it, right? And this is what happened to these places. They would form ice down into the ground, and when the ice melted and went away, it left a little kind of a pothole to help me to make it into a go-to-see place. We didn't call it a tourist attraction. We didn't have a name for it. It was a go-to-see place. And I'd bring people from here. There's a man here that's come with me before. I don't know where he is now. Anyway, that man there. You've been here before.
Oh, 40 years ago, yeah.
And what happened was I was afraid to bring people and not be with them, because what they would do, mankind being like they are, they would try to shove the rocks off. And you get 5 or 6 big fellows like yourself, you could roll the rock off. I didn't want that. I wanted them to leave it the way it is. And I had some problems with it. I was telling people, don't move them, leave them. Study them though. And they're weird because what they've done is there's a big mound, glaciers come this way and dropped all its load right here. And it's high. If you look, you should be able to see the rocks high above those trees. It's because can you look? Take a look and see if you can see a rock up above. It's right in here.
The forest has just gotten so thick you can't see it anymore.
Yeah, no,
you can't see the rock for the trees.
Yeah.
But it's higher than the trees, giving you some idea how it's unusual. See, it's not unusual to have rocks here. It's normal. But piled the way they are, well, you'd know about that. Okay, shall we go and see them? Thank you for coming. What those big holes underneath? Where do they go? Like, what lives there? I know that there's a family of porcupines that live there. Also, there's a true eagle lives here. There's 2 of them. My ski buddy. How you doing, Ed? Hello. If you were to look at this landscape here for miles around, you'll find that it's a very, very interesting area for geology. It's because it's in a fault. It's between Nighthawk Lake, and if you look at Nighthawk Lake, there's Kettle Lakes Park. There are lots of esker lakes there. It's mostly all esker lakes. Sometimes they can be big, but mostly they're small, little round places. Some of them here have...
This is so cool. I'm so happy we came.
I'm glad you came too. Look at that. Oh yeah.
Watch yourself.
Look at Larry here, right?
Right by.
Yeah.
They'll walk right by a corpse too.
Yep.
But I didn't. I was always in the woods and I was very, very observant. So what happened when I saw this, I thought, what the hell is going on here? That's not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
And it's up against a big outcrop too, eh?
Yep.
So I started looking around, and then I came back. And sometimes I'd go fishing, and I had a motorbike that goes through the bush with the big tires.
Okay.
And I go here, down that road, and I come out at Oswald Lake, at that lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. So you must have walked here many times before you actually found it.
Oh, yes. I walked right by without seeing it.
Well-
Because right here, you can see it above you.
Yeah, I guess the right time of the year. Now, what time of the year was it when you saw it? Was it the fall or was it the summer? Or
Well,
spring?
there was no leaves.
There was no leaves. Okay, yeah, that
Because
probably
I
was
used to
given.
come here because, not that I hunted them, but there was always good picture taken because there was a family of geese that lived in here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
On
and
that
they-
little pond?
Yeah, they were in there.
Oh, yeah.
And also there was an
come on
eagle.
there. Oh, there you go.
The eagle's still here, by the way. That eagle's still here. He goes, yeah, pretty sure. And we sort of fatherly image, I don't know what it was. And one
He's
we
always
were- the
been
first couple
passionate
days was-
about
I
being
said
out in the
to her,
woods and enjoying the wilderness,
stepped
and
away
he
from
mentioned
here.
he just stumbled upon this one.
the people. They look and you can tell that they're really, entranced by it, really. And that's what and it was no fun for me to travel around the bush by myself, because you're not passing anything on. So I would bring my nieces and nephews. We'd all go back in the swamp.
CSB would have nothing.
What do you think about them putting officially naming it right after you?
I don't know. I had nothing to do with that. It was the man who's he's a teacher at Royal Mission. He's passed away now. You know him. He's involved with High Falls. He was a teacher.
Oh, Grant Tunnicliffe.
Grant Tunnicliffe.
yeah,
Okay.
okay.
He's the guy to call. He called Mert Lake up and he said, "Come on, we'll go out to Archie's Rocks." And Mert knew what he meant then,
Yeah.
because it was they didn't know what they were doing, but they couldn't find it.
So what do you think about it being named after you?
Well, that's nice. It's a nice, not a feather in your cap, but it's a nice thing. It's a very polite thing for me. Yeah, I like it.
And how does it make you feel knowing that people will be enjoying this location for years to come?
Well, that's what my real wish is, that it becomes useful. That is to say, father will take out the son and walk in the road, and if the signs are good, you can't get lost. And people say, well, what about bears? All my life, I've seen bears around me, but the worst they do is look at me. Want me to do that again?
And what year, do you recall the day and the year that you discovered this?
Yeah, I think that's 1955. I'm going to say 1955 because I didn't record it, naturally. It was just a thing that happened. But I remember the first car I came in here with, I drove to the top of it, was a 55 Pontiac. So it had to be, it had to be then.
You remember the car?
I remember the car. Because you can't remember all this stuff, eh?
And how many trips have you taken out here?
Here, I've been here 100 times. Many, many times. I particularly like, remember when your dad had the motorbikes?
Yeah.
We used to come and we had motorbikes with the big wheel. And we'd go everywhere. No gates. No creek. Didn't matter if you had a creek, you just lift it up and carry it across.
Thanks, Archie.
Thank you.
Very good.
Too much.